Greeting everybody who's watching the video. Today we are moving on to a new chapter which is about teaching and learning vocabulary. There are going to be 3 separate videos for this week's off-campus sessions, and this is part 1 of our today's lesson. In this chapter, we are going to cover 3 main points. First, we'll talk about the introductory points, which introduces to the key elements that are quite important for the comprehension of the chapter. Then we'll talk about the key principles of teaching and learning vocabulary, in which we focus on various techniques, principles for practicing, introducing, and teaching vocabulary to students. The last main point of this chapter concentrates on the techniques themselves for vocabulary teaching, but this will be kept for next week's off-campus sessions. In this video, we will only touch on the introductory points. Before we get to the bread and butter of the chapter though, I have some lead-in questions to get all of you to think about. Your answers may just give some insights into what you are expecting to hear. You may pause the video for a minute or two to answer these questions on your own. I believe that your answers could at least set some expectations for what the chapter will cover. So let us get straight to our introductory points. The first point in this section is about knowing a word. So can you think of an answer to this question? How do students know a word exactly? Is it because they have seen it before? Or is it because they are able to identify the word in a text somewhere, but are unable to know what it means nor how to use it? The answer is students, and all of us too actually, really and truly know a word when they can actually use it for daily communication, in either speaking, reading, writing, or even listening. But the question is, how can students begin to build the words they need for communication? This brings up 2 terms that indicate the kind of words students learn in school. We have lower secondary syllabus and upper secondary syllabus. The lower one is a syllabus designed for students to store and build up their basic and simple vocabulary for everyday communication, such as going to a shop, a restaurant, asking for directions, ordering food, and all these sorts of things. And then we have the upper secondary syllabus, which is a syllabus designed to equip students with more advanced and academic vocabulary that are useful not just for everyday communication, but also for comprehending various academic topics or texts students may come across. The second point in this introduction to our chapter is, what is vocabulary? Is the word vocabulary the same as the word word, do you think? Some of you may think they are, some may not, but whatever your answer is, can you answer the second question instead? Are the words dog, cat, book called words or vocabularies? The answer is yes, for the first question. The 2 words are exactly the same. However, the word vocabulary is considered an uncountable noun, which means it does not really have a plural form. Instead, vocabulary is most often used as a classifying adjective or noun to refer to a type or a group of words. For example, you can say a vocabulary list or vocabulary game, where the word vocabulary acts as an adjective describing that the list or game is about words. Or you can use it as a noun, as in a special vocabulary to refer to a group of words that are special, or lower secondary vocabulary to refer to the types of vocabulary or words that are common. This brings us to another point of the introduction: what is a word? The same questions are asked. Is the word word the same as the word vocabulary? Are the words dog, cat, book called words or vocabularies? Yes, they are the same, but when talking about multiple words or phrases, we use the word words or phrases to describe them, not vocabularies, because the word vocabulary does not have a plural form. Another thing that you need to know about the word word is that it technically refers to a word that comes with only one meaning and only one form. So words like cat or dog, they are called a word because the word cat, for example, has one meaning and one form. You can't change it or use it in any other contexts. On the other hand, there are words that have more than one meaning and more than one form. For example, the word book can either mean to make an appointment or just a book. Phrases like get up is formed using two words, get and up, to create one meaning and can be used in many contexts. For words that can have many functions, meanings, and can form multiple ways by using prefixes and suffixes, for example, are called lexical items. A lexical item is a word that carries more than one meaning, can be changed into a noun, into an adjective, and can be used to form phrases as well. Now, you may be wondering, why do we need to know the difference between a word and a vocabulary? It is important because as a teacher, you can easily mistake the two, especially in speaking. We may use vocabularies as plural to indicate the many words we are going to teach today, which is not right. Instead, you can say we are going to learn 5 words in our vocabulary lesson today. Speaking of a lexical item, it brings us to 2 more terms in this chapter that you should know. Lexical words, also known as content words, and function words, also known as grammar words. First, I would like you to look at the collection of words below and decide which function words are and which content words are. Why do you think they are that? Exactly. Words like house, car, girl, who, intelligent, etc. are content words because they carry a complete meaning and they have their own part of speech. They are either an adjective, an adverb, a verb, or can be a question word. Sometimes in a sentence, having just these content words alone can still make people understand you. While words like can, must, on, the, is, am, have, has, etc. are function words because they are needed for a sentence to be correctly written. Without them, the sentences are grammatically incorrect but can still be understood with just enough content words. Therefore, in this chapter, we are not focusing on teaching and learning grammar words or vocabulary. We focus on teaching and learning content words and content vocabulary. Now we have come to the last point of our introductory points, which is about building core vocabulary. It is important that students, especially university students, have 2,600 common words in both lower and upper secondary syllabus. This is because having them also means that students are able to know 90% of the words on any English pages. Whatever they read or come across, most of the words appearing in the texts are not new to them. Now, within the 2600 common words, students should know at least 1200 basic words in the lower secondary syllabus for daily and simple communication in all four skills, and the other 1400 words in the upper secondary syllabus for specifically reading and dealing with more academic texts or topics. So, have you ever wondered why you could understand most of the words in your textbook, for example, or when you are listening to me speak right now, except for those few words that I mentioned, or you come across that just makes it seem like it's too difficult? In fact, you already know most of the words. The words you don't know or don't see often are what we call rare words or special words. We are going to look at what they are in the later video, but for now, this is the end of part 1.